just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Want to support the channel and wear some of our merchandise? Feel free to stop over to Teespring and browse ETEP's Place to Be reviews or Monday Night Going In Raw to guide you to either of our stores where we have merchandise for men, women, children. We have long sleeve tees, regular classic t-shirts, hoodies, zip-ups, mugs, tote bags, hats. Get that exclusive Going In Raw, no protection needed merchandise over there. And if you don't want to buy any merchandise, that's cool too. We love you. Enjoy the videos. Over here on MovieWeb, here we go. We're going to take a look at some articles and then all the box office numbers through Sunday evening for Spider-Man No Way Home. I almost said Far From Home for some reason. Spider-Man Farfignugan was the last movie. No Way Home was the third entry. I am just rambling. We're going to take a look at this article here from MovieWeb. Came out about a half hour ago. Then we're going to look at the box office numbers through Sunday evening for Spider-Man No Way Home, which was a phenomenal movie in this reviewer's humble opinion. But let's look at this article right here. Spider-Man No Way Home destroys weekend box office with an astonishing $253 million debut. Yes, and that is only, my friends, the domestic box office. That's not even the worldwide. But the latest joint venture from Sony and Marvel Studios easily beat the record for the highest opening weekend during the pandemic. And I think this is very disingenuous reporting, ladies and gentlemen. When they say the highest box office during the pandemic, it really does a disservice to the movies, because it's not just making this much money because it's the pandemic era. No, this movie would have crushed regular box office records from a normal day-to-day operations and economy. This movie was always going to be the crown jewel this year for Marvel, and what makes me so happy is 75% of the money goes to Sony. And that's the thing, and for as many missteps as Sony has had, this is not one of them. And what's funny is it's a joint venture, so I know what you're thinking. A lot of you are thinking, well, but they're still two separate entities. They just happen to have a joint interest in Spider-Man, which I believe most of the creative success from Spider-Man is derivative of the Sony side, not the Marvel side. Because we've seen what they've done with Spider-Man in the Marvel movies outside of Civil War. It's been pretty bad. And I think that John Watts had been saving up his home run swing for this third installment, and boy, did he hit it out of the park. If you want to know our thoughts on it, go over and check out our review from Friday night with myself, Tony, Vinny, Draven, and Liam. Spider-Man No Way Home easily destroyed all box office competition with an astonishing $253 million debut this weekend. The latest joint venture from Sony and Marvel Studios now has the highest opening of any pandemic and the sixth highest grossing movie of 2021 in a weekend. Prior to No Way Home, movies struggled to hit the $100 million opening weekend, with the highest opening of the pandemic going to Sony's Venom, Let There Be Carnage at $90 million. While it was common knowledge that the return of Tom Holland's Peter Parker was going to be huge, the sequel went ahead and sailed right past the initial projections. Yeah, this domestically, I figured this movie would do about 160 to 170, maybe 180. 253 million domestic is disgusting, and that's not counting the Sunday night shows. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the year of Sony, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and now this Spider-Man No Way Home movie. They killed it.
I was killing, Jerry. Killing. Kill.
Spider-Man No Way Home is now Sony's biggest opening ever. The sequel took in an additional $334.2 million overseas, bringing the global total to a whopping $587.2 million, which does not include China. Along with traditional hype surrounding a movie set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, No Way Home boasts some pretty huge guest stars from the current MCU with Sony's previous Marvel movies, making for some pretty interesting news leaks over the last year. Word of mouth is certainly helping Spider-Man No Way Home, but praise from critics and viewers is also helping out considerably. Here we are, we're over on BoxOfficeMojo.com. We're going to take a look at all the numbers here through Sunday night. Here we go right here. As we saw, we have 253 domestic, 334.2 worldwide, 587,200,000 worldwide total, 2 days in release. This is outstanding for Sony, Marvel notwithstanding. Sony is killing it. Like I said, Venom was the biggest opener. Then this obviously overtook that with a huge opening weekend. And just think of all that money going to Sony. And Kevin Feige's like, Spider-Man should be Earth. And all the MCU stands are like, yeah, it's Marvel. And we're like, no, this is Sony. This is not Marvel doing this. If it was Marvel, he would have had half his head shaved and had purple hair. And would not have been the hero. And think about, this movie went over so big, and it's got not one, not two, but three cis heteronormative white males in the lead. Wow, it's amazing what you can do when you focus on your story, isn't it? And nobody cares who the leads are because you have 3 Spider-Men as the leads. Spider-Man, all Peter Parker, because Peter Parker's Spider-Man. I don't care what other characters you make up, what other characters you tokenize. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So the gross domestic worldwide, 587.2 right now. Amazing, amazing Spider-Man gross here. The last part of this video, I really wanted to talk about this article I saw from Deadline, came out the other day. And we didn't get a chance to talk about it last night on Rogue Entertainment over on Stephen Walton's channel. But I wanted to cover this article here. Kevin Feige says Disney and Sony are actively beginning to develop where Spider-Man goes following No Way Home. And this is what bothers me about this, is this idiot right here being involved in a big way. I just think he's lucky, and sometimes he puts the right creative people around him, and he knows how to play off of other people's ideas like Jon Favreau. Because that's who started the MCU, was Jon Favreau. Kevin Feige did take it to new heights and gave us characters that we love and care about. But also with Phase 4, it's been very lackluster. And Sony and Spider-Man came in and saved that. With Spider-Man No Way Home now out in theaters, Disney and Sony are actively beginning to develop where the web-slinger story goes next, says Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige. Feige's comments came in an interview with the New York Times published Friday, for which he sat down with former Sony exec and franchise producer Amy Pascal. Amy and I and Disney and Sony are talking about, yes, we're actively beginning to develop where the story heads next, says Feige. Which I only say outright because I don't want fans to go through any separation trauma like what happened after Far From Home. That will not be occurring this time. Okay, so right now what I'm looking at is we've got Kevin Feige saying that they're in development to see where this character and this franchise go next. My problem with Kevin Feige having that level of influence is, will the next one, hopefully everything stays the same, and it's another, Sony leading the way with, Marvel co-producing. So Sony gets most of the profits, and it falls under the Sony banner. I know the MCU stans are reeing and pissing themselves about this, but Marvel having complete control of this character is not good for the character. Like I said, look at his appearances. The only one that was good was Civil War. After that, they went to shit. He needed somebody. He needed somebody to hold his hand. He had to be little Iron Boy Jr. The women had to carry him around in Endgame because he's inept. It was sad. And this movie really took everything that Marvel had done with Spider-Man and actually turned it into Spider-Man, which not Marvel, Sony more or less, but more happy about the trajectory of this character coming out of this I could not be, because by the end of the movie, Tom Holland actually showed that he's capable of playing the more mature Spider-Man, and Tobey and Andrew did wonderful, and I would not be opposed to them being involved moving forward if it makes sense to the story and is not just done, for nostalgia or whatever, because I felt like their appearances made sense in this movie, and they played their parts wonderfully. And Andrew Garfield has really earned my respect in the character of Peter Parker, as well as Spider-Man, because him playing the high school Peter Parker, he was way too cool. You know what I mean? Spider-Man was great, but the Peter Parker role for Andrew Garfield just never really connected with me, because it was like, this guy is he's too composed. Peter's a nerdy, neurotic mess. That to me, that's what he always was. So Toby was better as Peter Parker, And I liked him as Spider-Man as well. Tobey will always be my Spider-Man, you know. But Tom Holland has now earned my respect fully, for what that's worth. Take it for what it's worth. But yeah, I really enjoyed his performance in this one. So we'll go back to this article here. Feige was alluding to a period between August and September of 2019 following the release of Tom Holland-led Spider-Man sequel, Far From Home, which saw financial negotiations surrounding the future of the franchise break down between Disney and Sony. Had they not gotten back on track, Feige would have exited his involvement with the Spider-Man films, with Spider-Man himself exiting the MCU. And I have a video that actually came close. That's the closest I've ever come to getting ratioed on a video, was that one when I took the side of Sony and said that, good, maybe Sony should get the character back, because Marvel with this character has not proven themselves yet. They haven't. They have not. And the way Marvel overall is going with Phase 4, the trajectory, outside, take Spider-Man out of this, garbage. Hawkeye, okay, Hawkeye is the best thing in Phase 4 until this movie came along, until No Way Home came along. Which is not saying very much, but I will say I do like Haley Steinfeld. I wish we got more actual Hawkeye with Clint Barton, but I do like Haley Steinfeld. She plays the role very well. Pascal subsequently noted in the New York Times story, there's plenty more story to explore with Tom Holland's Spidey. Given the way in which No Way Home closes out at the end of the movie we just made, you see Spider-Man make a momentous decision, one that you've never seen him make before, she notes. It's a sacrifice that gives us a lot to work with for the next film. Yeah, that's kind of, I believe it was One More Day. I think that's the story they where he kind of does, he has the same decision to make. I haven't read many of the comics, the recent ones, so I don't know. In an interview with Fandango published on November 29th, Pascal made similar comments, getting even more into detail about her plans for the future of the franchise. This is not the last movie that Sony's going to make with Marvel. This is not the last Spider-Man movie, she said. We are getting ready to make the next Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland and Marvel. We're thinking of this as 3 films, and now we're on to the next 3. This is not the last of our MCU movies. Pascal would walk these comments back to a degree in her interview with The Times, when journalist Brooke Barnes suggested that they had seemed to catch the studios by surprise. We're producers, so we always believe everything will work out, she said. I love working with Kevin. We have a great partnership along with Tom Rothman, who runs Sony and has been instrumental, a great leader with great ideas. I hope it lasts forever. Holland's run as Spider-Man kicked off in 2017 Spider-Man Homecoming, with John Watts helming all 3 of the films, in which he starred alongside Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, Tony Revolori, and more. In No Way Home, the character turns to Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, for help after his true identity as Peter Parker is revealed. When the spell goes wrong, dangerous foes from other worlds start to appear, forcing Peter to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. The film released on December 17th and thus far has grossed more than $165 million worldwide. Yeah, like I said, this article came out the 18th, so it came out yesterday afternoon. So I don't know where this goes next, truly. I don't. Will it be the Spider-Man that we want? You know, will it be the Spider-Man that we've asked for? One can only hope. Like I said, with the way that Tom Holland's character arc was in No Way Home, it's plausible that they finally got a clue on what they need to do with this character when they mature him and start giving him these, you know, more adult-oriented storylines and take him out of the high school setting. And that's what we've wanted for this. Is we wanted one of the top 3 most recognizable superheroes around the world: Spider-Man, Superman, and Batman. This guy sells the most merch out of everybody, and you need to treat him with the reverence that he deserves. And this movie was the first time since the Maguire era, the Raimi trilogy, that I've seen the character treated with such reverence. And I have a newfound respect, even for as not great as the Amazing Spider-Man movies are, for those films as well, just because of Andrew Garfield's maturation in progression as an actor, and seeing what he's did in this movie, it's like I can give him a little more of a pass now. So there you have it, folks. There's my thoughts on Spider-Man. I want those pictures of Spider-Man. No, really, I really enjoyed this movie, though. I want to go see it again. I want to know what you think, though. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you know that we want you. Let me ask you, if today's the day I've earned it, please hit that button and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you. We truly do. And yeah, if you subscribe, be sure to ding the bell for notifications so you know whenever we upload a new video or go live, as we do on Mondays and Wednesdays for Going In Raw and Going Rogue, presented by Rogue Entertainment, respectively. Also, please take the time, opine in the comments below. That's your turn to sound off and let me know what you think. Where do you think Spider-Man is headed from here? Do you think they're going to kind of rehash the adult-oriented storylines they touched on with Tobey Maguire in that Raimi trilogy, or go in a completely new direction, albeit in a more adult-themed Peter Parker type storyline? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of No Way Home. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think we're going to get more Eddie Brock, played by Tom Hardy, over here? Or is that done with, well, maybe you haven't seen it yet. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm Itepukuin of The Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of yous. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow. I'll catch you on the next one. And remember,
it's better to burn out than to fade away.
Boom!